Hey, teacher friends. If your students are walking into your math class, sitting down silently, and doing a warm up by themselves, you might be wasting the most important 10 minutes of your math block. I'm just going to go out and say it, okay? That's old school, do now. It's no longer working. I'm Dr. D from Teacher Prep, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my 3 essential routines that will completely shift how your students start math class. And these routines are built for engagement, critical thinking, and getting kids to actually do the math. They're not just cutesy activities, but they're research based and they support students in working in their zone of proximal development. Because we both know that kids are coming in and there's this huge wide range of where they're at. So if you're tired of blank stares, one word answers, or students waiting for you to explain everything, you need these routines to start your math block. Let's jump in. So my first must-do math routine is called a number talk. You may have heard of these before, but if they're not part of your daily math warm-up, you're missing out. A number talk is a quick mental math problem or an image that students solve in their heads. No paper, no pencil, just mental math. You pose a problem like, say, 12 plus 7 or 26 plus 13, or a string of related expressions that build on prior knowledge. Students are going to think silently and give you a thumbs up when they're ready. And then the magic begins. You record their answers. You facilitate a conversation around the strategies they use. Students can agree or disagree. And here's why this is gold, because it builds mental math fluency. And the research shows that is critical for doing advanced math. And best of all, there's always more than one way to show how to solve the problem. With 12 plus 7, one student might break it into 10 plus 2 plus 7 equals 19. Another student might start at 12 and then count on 7 more. And then another student might just add the 1s and 10s separately. 2 plus 7, 10 plus 9, 19. They're all valid strategies. They're all valid learning moments. And best of all, number talks encourage risk-taking, deepens number sense, and creates a shared space for math talk. And remember, we want our kids talking. And I just want you to know that this approach is not just for elementary students. They're super powerful for middle school and high school learners too. Essentially, they're going to help your students brush up on essential skills before diving into complex concepts. For example, if you're an algebra teacher and your students are struggling with factoring trinomials, guess what? They need number sense around multiples and factors. So start with a number talk like find 2 numbers that multiply to 24 and add to 11. Or what's the product of 2 numbers that differ by 3 and have a sum of 13? These warm-ups are going to activate your prior knowledge, strengthen critical numeracy, and help your students make connections before you even introduce the algorithm. All right, let's talk about number 2, open-ended tasks. And these tasks are what we in the math community call low floor, high ceiling, because everyone can start and there's no limit as to where students go. Let me give you an example. If you're teaching adding fractions with unlike denominators, you're going to give students a task like create 2 fractions using the digits 1 to 9, only ones, so that their sum is less than 1. You'll pop the template on the board or maybe in a Google Slides, and then students are going to work collaboratively. They're going to explore, they're going to test, and they're going to revise. Here's why this works. Students are going to play with numbers and test combinations. They're going to build fractional reasoning, and if you have advanced learners, you're going to push them for multiple solutions. This strategy also supports struggling students because they can work at their own pace. It's a win-win, and yes, I have a template for you in the description. Shout out to Robert Kaplinsky over at Open Middle for all of your great strategies for open-ended tasks. And routine number 3 for the win is math games. Anytime you can pull out a deck of cards or some dice, it's a win in my math classroom. Hands down, this is my students' favorite routine. And let's be real, kids, students love to play games. In fact, you could probably do a number talk on the number of hours they've played games over the summer. Math games give them permission to talk and permission to do math without fear. One of my favorite go-to games is Factor Captor. It's a low prep game. It reinforces multiplication and factoring for fluency. Here's how it works in a nutshell. Players choose numbers from board, capture that number, its factors, and earn points. The catch? They only score if they correctly identify all the factors. That way you get both people playing. And trust me, they will really want to check their answers. So this is when I say hey, grab those journals, the ones with the dust on it. You can finally dust them off. and you can finally put your math notebooks to use, right? Because anytime you can get students referencing their class notes, they get stuck. It's a built-in scaffold, and it's an incentive to take good notes. Yay! So let's get our students to use the tools that we provide them. And if you don't have time for a board game, it's okay, because there is a ton of digital online games that you can bring into your classroom that support fluency, engagement, and confidence. You probably know a couple like Quizzes, Kahoots, Blicket, Gimcat. I also love 99 Math, which is a fast-paced fluency game where the students work cooperatively. And all these games built in math questions, so you don't have to do a lot of work. If you're not familiar with Desmos, there's Polygraph and there's Marble Slide, and they're awesome to get kids to actually think critically and play a fun math game where they're really just competing against themselves. So whether it's digital or hands-on, the goal is the same. Get students to do the math, get students to talk about math, and get students engaged in your math class. Because at the end of the day, if you're the only one that's doing the talking, you're the only one that's doing the learning. So let me know in the comments what your favorite math routine is. Don't forget to check out some of those freebies that I've added. And if you want more fun freebies, definitely become a member of my channel, and I'll see you next time.